Wars are the worst of all. Wars are worse than anything. But we can stop wars because that's sort of up to us. But things like dust flying in the air,
millions and millions of documents. There may be 10 emails connecting me with him. I barely had anything to do with that person. I literally met him 3 times over 14 years with widespread in between. I have done absolutely nothing wrong. I have nothing to hide. Absolutely nothing.
The crypto industry got virtually everything that it asked for, not just from Washington, but from Wall Street as well. So the sell-off we're seeing year to date comes down to 3 things. First, the ETFs that were consistently buying for virtually 2 straight years are now selling. $5 billion net out of spot Bitcoin ETFs over the past 3 months. And on average, those Bitcoin fund holders are underwater with a cost basis around $90K. Ether ETF holders are down even more, about 31% according to 10x research. And when existing holders are sitting on losses like that, it's hard to bring in new money. Second, the Treasury trade is breaking. Strategy, Bitcoin's largest corporate holder, posted a $17 billion plus unrealized loss when they reported earnings last week. The stock now trades below the value of its Bitcoin. So the flywheel that fueled this rally, issue stock, buy more, grow the premium, it's not working. And third, Bitcoin is trading like a liquidity asset, not a hedge. So when risk off hits, it's a release valve, a 24/7 market that investors can tap for cash with no counterparty. So whether it was the October tariff shock or the Warsh nomination that set off this latest sell-off 10 days ago, Bitcoin was one of the first things that sold off. Fed Governor Waller summed it up yesterday. The post-election crypto euphoria is fading, and as firms cut risk, they're trimming crypto.
You can see that some of the providers like Bitwise, which serve primarily financial advisors, do get inflows that are counter-trend. We had significant inflows across the suite of all of our products last week because our financial advisor investors were buying the dip. What covers it over is that ETFs serve a wide variety of audiences. So often when you see those outflows, those are coming from hedge funds or traders who are also participating in the ETF. So it's really a tale of 2 sides. When I speak to financial advisors, they are looking at this more as an opportunity than a risk. Again, we continue to see inflows across the full suite of our products at Bitwise. And I think that's reflective of these sort of 2 markets, the fast money market who are investing for the next month and the people who are investing for the next 4 or 5 years.
It was interesting to me how quickly this was shrugged off. And I think largely that's because in the near term, this was very moderate guidance. It wasn't the PBOC, it was to banks, and it advised them to not buy any more or reduce exposure that they may have. But I'll tell you, Morgan, this is Beijing continuing what has been a gradual effort at financial de-risking, trying to limit their exposure to dollar volatility. But for the longer term for China, it sanctions risk if there were ever to be any sort of conflict. Think about Taiwan, for example. So I think there are certainly longer term reasons to be concerned. In the short term, I guess I understand why markets may shrug it off.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. Also, go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And I know a lot of you have been asking me about this Guthrie's kidnapping. There's been so many NWO fingerprints, I don't even want to touch it. Of course, the first one is TMZ, ransom note. Now they want Bitcoin, and we know if you're trying to transact, you're definitely not going to use Bitcoin. Now, if they said Monero or Zcash, they might have something, but not Bitcoin. That's easily trackable. Us in this space, we know that, but we know the sheep have no clue. Remember, your life is an illusion and TV is your reality. And we have Lucknick in front of Congress asked about Epstein. And when it comes to the NWO big money, for some reason, just about all of them have met Epstein. And we know why. We know exactly who he was working for. And he was definitely a smart man. And every time Epstein files are brought up, there's $1 trillion missing. And while the sheep are distracted on the PSYOP, the NWO runs that money in the back door, and they're ready to build. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have Bitcoin and crypto pulling back. And if Bitcoin and crypto stay in this range, and I told you, our new range, 60,000 to about 79, 80,000. And that means stocks have a long ways down. And these yield rates are going to start moving right back up after the Fed is done with all the stimulus. We have a new Fed chair that's coming in, and he's going to surprise a lot of people because he's going to allow these yield rates to rise. He's going to cut this balance sheet because remember, Trump's job is to devalue this dollar, so therefore they can devalue this debt to put us on a level playing field. But we know these countries are going to start selling these U.S. treasuries. And when it comes to these Bitcoin, Ethereum ETFs, yes, the whales are selling. We can clearly see it. Yes, we have small inflows from the smaller players, but the big whales are selling. That's a whole lot of selling pressure. But eventually, they're going to come back in and buy. But we know they're going to buy at the lows and ride it right back up. We've seen the movie before. And we're going to have China, Japan not only stop buying U.S. treasuries, but they're going to have to start selling. And then we know the rest of the countries are going to follow. Remember, the dollar is not going anywhere. It's just going to be devalued. And in history, anytime someone loses trust on the currency, there's going to be a run made. But this run is going to be planned. Everyone is going to run into these stable coins. And these stable coins are going to be programmable, but it's going to be universal basic income. Dangle that carrot. The people are going to love it at the beginning, but they don't know the end game. And that end game is to control what they buy or sell. And because the drums are getting a beating, the people will be sitting at home while the machines take over the economy, and they don't need a human involved because now they have money. They have crypto, so they can transact with each other. And you're going to have an AI agent, something that you want to be able to control because it's going to be controlling your digital twin. I know it sounds like a movie, but remember, your life is an illusion, and TV is your reality. And we have Bank of America CEO, Brian Moynihan, definitely not giving us the truth. Said the consumer is spending. Yes, because the consumer has to spend in order to survive. But they're definitely not buying the things that they were buying before. They're definitely not going on the trips that they were going to before. We can clearly go to the Fed website and see the consumer is hurting. Credit card debt, behinds on all types of loans. And the NWO has a sheet right where you want them, because they have that universal basic income, what the people are going to beg for. But in order to bring it in, of course, those drums have to beat. And we hear them getting louder and louder. And anytime we hear simulation, we know that Black Swan is definitely around the corner. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows, when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
About the retail sales number for December, it's mid-February. Let me tell you that in the month of January, we saw our retail consumers, the 68 million you said, move 5% more money in the economy than they did last January. That's very consistent with a strong economic growth environment. And that number has stabilized and been pretty strong. Fourth quarter about the same, this quarter strong. December sales are a little bit affected if you looked in our data by how the holiday season fell and things like that. But overall, the consumer is spending. And if you look at it by cohorts of low, middle, and higher earning people, all are growing. They're just growing at different rates, and that's part of the K economy, affordability, and all the discussion going on. But the consumer is spending money and continues to put money in the economy. And if you think about it, as we have said for many years, Leslie, and talking to you, look what they do, not what they say they're going to do. And if you look at what they're spending on in January, they're spending on trips, they're spending on things. Some of the big ticket items came down a little bit, but the amount they're spending went up in the aggregate. So there's a story there which says the consumers are employed, earning money, and are being careful when they can be careful, but are also making sure they protect for their family the ability to take the vacation, things like that.
A new war game tests German reaction time should Russia take advantage of gaps in NATO protections and invade Lithuania, using humanitarian convoys to the Russian enclave of Kaliningrad as a cover. The simulation, conducted by a German newspaper, shows how Russia could seize NATO territory in days, using minimal forces, before the alliance has time to invoke Article 5 for its collective defense.
We're going to have tremendous workforce availability. We're also going to have robots helping us. We're going to have a lot of robots helping us because we need it. And because we're going to town, we're building a lot between the AI and the auto plants. So we're going to need robots. We're going to have robots, but that's going to help us.
Robots hold steady hands in the operating room, and drones are redefining the future of war. Innovations of first-generation humanoids, factory automation, and autonomous vehicles have surged from private sector investment. Every one of these advancements is powered by AI. The robots are here. Our future is no longer science fiction.
Maybe crypto is actually built for the machines and we didn't even know it. And AI can easily handle private keys and easily understands transaction hashes and like how all this stuff works. It is money that is built for computers, even before the computers to intelligently handle it were built. So I find that interesting. And, perhaps those of us who were involved in crypto pre-AI were kind of just like getting the ground ready for the AI systems to have a fully developed financial system handed to them, for better or worse.
This could be perhaps the greatest revolution in financial technology since the birth of the internet itself. Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology.
And as President Trump has directed, we are going to keep the U.S. the dominant reserve currency in the world, and we will use stable coins to do that.
I think stable coins could reinforce dollar supremacy, because with stable coins could end up being one of the largest buyers of U.S. treasuries or T-bills. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, if you are using a stable coin in Nigeria that's backed by the U.S. dollar, you don't actually have to have dollars. It's on your phone. You can transact.
We are going big on digital assets. So Trump administration has made digital assets a priority. I've seen estimates that just over the short term, stable coins could create $2 trillion of demand for U.S. treasuries and treasury bills. To put that in context, the number is probably about $300 billion right now. We will take a close look at regulatory impediments to blockchain, stable coins, and new payment systems.
The Department of Commerce is going to start issuing its statistics on the blockchain, because you are the crypto president, and we are going to put out GDP on the blockchain so people can use the blockchain for data distribution, and then we're going to make that available to the entire government so all of you can do it. We're just ironing out all the details so we can do it.
Together, these world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate. So put that name down in your books, because I think you're going to reduce the cost of virtually all goods and services. It'll make the United States a manufacturing superpower and the world capital of artificial intelligence and crypto. But with today's announcement, we take a major step to bring healthcare into the digital age. Instead of filling out the same tedious paperwork at every medical appointment, patients will simply be able to grant their doctors access to their records at the push of a button. Just a button and you're all set, and all the information the doctor needs will be immediately transmitted.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
If we could tokenize all our ETFs, all $5.3 trillion of our ETFs, and provide that in a digital wallet, you could seamlessly, without fees, going from a digital currency or a stable coin or whatever that may be in your digital wallet and buy bond or stocks. And I believe that is going to be the future.
I believe we're going to be in the cutting edge of tokenizing bonds and stocks.
Coming.
And we have the technology now. The fact that we are now moving forward in tokenization, every bond and stock, is crazy. Yeah. We should be moving towards that frontier. Obviously, there's winners and losers and all that, but we need to be prepared for the tokenization. And it would democratize more finance if we tokenized bonds and stocks.
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Team save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Team save New York from COVID-33. Part 3, King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.